Back, Cowboys Nation. We have episode 11 of the Dallas Ballers Club. We actually don't have the usual suspects today. It's just Burke and Spanky, aka Bennett and David. Clayton couldn't join us this evening. What is he doing right now? Work, happy hour, gone late, something. Yeah, Clayton's celebrating a little. What is this? 2 weeks of work for him, I think.
Yeah.
Since started his new job.
Big 2 week mark.
The big 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
So good for Stu. Should maybe be back next episode. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But more importantly, sorry, Stu, but we have a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. We're recording this on Friday evening. Obviously, we usually do this on Thursdays, but due to it being on Monday Night Football, we decided to give ourselves a little bit of a one-day breather. We were having some slow weeks, so took last night off, got to watch a pretty awful Thursday Night Football game, and then now we're here recording. So I do want to start this out by saying we did have a scheduling conflict with our guest. We were supposed to have a special guest. We instead have rescheduled for a couple weeks from now when we're scheduled to go to Philadelphia. So be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely tease it more as the time gets closer. But no worries there on either of our ends. Timing didn't make sense this week. All good. Two other notes that I had just before we really get into this game preview. The first is that Post Malone, Cowboys Canes. Did you see that?
Dude, it's sick.
It looks awesome.
Sick.
It looks awesome. I mean, two great things, Raising Canes and Post Malone. I mean, come on.
And the Dallas Cowboys, obviously.
And the Dallas Cowboys. How did I not say the Dallas Cowboys? Three awesome things. Yeah. Wow. Big miss there. Big miss. But today we're going to be again previewing the Monday Night Football game, Week 6 against the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium. And I'll just start this by saying we're back in. Maybe that's a stretch. We're in, but if we lose this game, the sky might fall. Back out. Yeah. So we're in.
We're back in to being hopeful, but if we lose, we're back out again. Cowboys Nation. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're back in on with the contingency. Want to throw that out there. We're in with the contingency that we win this weekend.
We're in, but we're out. Really.
Yeah,
like we're like about to step into the pool, so like half of our legs in.
Yeah.
We're testing the water. Yeah. We're testing the water. It's a little chilly.
Half the legs in the pool, but you have like goosebumps because it's kind of cold.
Yeah. If it's chilly and if Mike McCarthy's offense keeps looking like shit and we're like, oh fuck, like I'm not going in the water.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Then we're back out.
Back out.
Yeah. But for right now, as of the time of this recording, right this second, we're back in. So, like I said, Cowboys Chargers Monday Night Football. It's going to be a really fun game.
Color rush jerseys.
Yeah, big game note there. Color rush
white
jerseys, white helmets. They've been practicing with them. They look sick. I mean, they're so sick.
So cool. Bro.
I love our. Yeah, we just need to give some love to our color rush shoes for a second. They're so sick. They're so awesome. I love the white helmets with the all white jerseys. I mean, it's so clean. When did we wear it? Last time I think we wore it on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, but we didn't wear white helmets with our color rush, did we?
I thought we did against the Titans last year.
Oh no, we did.
In that
we did.
The Josh Dobbs game.
Yeah.
Really ugly win.
Oh, Josh Dobbs just has our number, right?
We did win though.
But it was ugly.
It was ugly. Yeah, Josh Dobbs, Cowboy killer. Let's get that narrative out there, right?
Yeah.
Noted
elite quarterback.
Yeah, noted Cowboy killers: Odell Beckham Jr., Deshaun Jackson, Santana Moss, Josh Dobbs,
Yeah.
Colt McCoy. I mean,
Victor Cruz.
yeah, Victor Cruz,
Yeah.
Brennan Jacobs,
Oh,
Eli.
Eli.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Odell.
I said
Just
Odell.
loves
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just, yeah, automatic. Yeah. Okay. We're getting
Let's get on
sidetracked.
track here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting sidetracked early, but yeah, Josh Jobs, Cowboy killer, elite quarterback, just putting that in the universe. Staying on that train till he's not. And then we're off the train, just for the record. But let's getting back on track here. Let's start. Do we have any news or updates? I know we've had some injury reserve news.
Yeah. Nashawn Wright is doing that 21-day like practice window. He got injured in preseason. I'm not sure really what he injured. I think it was foot or ankle.
Sounds right.
Hendershot, IR, Sean McCown called up. Vander Esch on IR, Rashawn Evans signed. Obviously the viewers won't know this, but I was saying we should probably sign Rashawn Evans this past offseason, leading into the preseason. Hopefully he brings that level of physicality and just like a run first linebacker that I've been just hammering the table wanting.
I mean,
Hendershot,
you predicted this before we even like started this podcast, like way back in preseason. You've been
yeah,
talking about Rashawn Evans since like probably like right after the draft.
yeah, I saw 159 tackles last year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking sign me up. He also was practicing in a tinted
159
visor.
tackles,
Yeah,
Alabama? What?
yeah. What
This guy's
former
a free
first round?
agent?
Bring him in. Bring him
Yeah.
in.
Alabama? Yeah. Cowboy.
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Sign
Yeah.
me up.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, Tyron Smith, full participant. I mean,
Huge.
hopefully we get to see our full offensive line against not an elite defense. They have pieces, but we'll get into it later. But unfortunately, I think this might be the end of Hendershot on the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't want to be that guy, but with Schoonmaker and Ferg, like why would we kind of keep a player like Hendershot around when we can have like a more utility run blocking tight end?
I
But who
mean,
knows?
I agree with that. I think I
Who
agree with that.
knows?
I don't know if he'll get released, but Sean McHugh and the coaches do love him. He's a decent blocker, and he just makes smart plays. Like, dude, that when I was at the Patriots game, that fumble that he recovered on that Turpin run, and I literally said it on the podcast. I was like, that's the kind of play that like gets you in a coach's good graces.
For sure. And
especially for a bubble guy like
even
him.
this offseason, wasn't John Stevens outperforming him in preseason, in my thought, before his ACL injury? I certainly thought so. So who knows? But let's get started on the offense here. We're saying we let off with like we're back, but we're not. The offense plays a key role into the boys being back. I'll just say that. There was some pretty ugly drama surrounding the offense, whether that was Dak, CD, Mike McCarthy, you name it. One quote that I really loved was the Ferg quote, talking about Dak, saying
awesome.
that's my quarterback, and if he asks me to run through a wall for him, I will. Like I still got you.
Ride with you till the wheels fall off, I think was basically what he said.
Like inject that into my veins. Like that gets me fired up.
All-time teammate Jake Ferguson.
Absolutely.
And Riz God.
Yeah, Riz Goat. The Rizzler. But this Chargers defense has players. Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Bosa. They got a good linebacker too. But believe it or not, they're the 32nd ranked pass defense. And if the viewers are unfamiliar with how many teams there are in the NFL, there are 32. Yeah. So they got their holes.
Is that bad?
Yeah. I guess we'll see. We'll see how bad it is. We'll see the scheme. But yeah, I fucking hope we take shots, man. Like I hope we take shots. We'll air it out. I hope to God Mike is playing to keep the offensive play calling duties. And so I hope we see some pre-snap motion. Let's take a page out of Shanahan's book. Let's move the defense around. Let's make them communicate. Let's run the ball. But I'm kind of excited for this matchup. Obviously going against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa is pretty intimidating. But I would be more intimidated if we didn't have Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele. So that being said, I want to see a good game out of Dak. I want to see a good game out of our wide receivers group as a whole. Our whole entire offense needs to have a good fucking game. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Seeing the recent performances, even seeing our blowout wins, like our defense has been scoring a lot of points from those blowout wins. You take away the pick sixes and the blocked field goals, like those blowout losses look a lot less blowouty on paper if it was just our offense scoring. But hindsight's 2020. I need to see a good game out of the offense. I'm hopeful, but certain players need to win me back.
Yeah. Sorry, I was answering a stupid text. Yeah, this is a really big week for our offense. This is a prove it game, whether we like it or not. That's just unfortunately the situation that we're in, especially we do have our bye next week, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is I really liked what you said about Mike McCarthy playing to keep his play calling responsibilities. This is a huge game for him. This is a defense that is not great. They have, which is weird because they have big names. You have Derwin James, obviously, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Asante Samuel Jr. I forgot this on Eric Kendricks. I just got their
Right.
depth chart pulled up here. Like they've got some guys on this team. It's just I don't know what it is. I also don't know who their DC is. I don't really. I feel like I should know that, but I don't. I can't remember who it is. But this is a week where our offense as a whole needs to show that they have a pulse. And I really liked what you said about the pre-snap motion. I don't understand why it's gone so far by the wayside. Like, didn't Mike McCarthy, after he was done coaching the Packers, didn't he take a year off of football to
Yes. Yep.
get more current with like current
Be an
NFL?
analyst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't understand why it seems like whatever he learned is just gone out the window. Like we've seen an extreme lack of creativity outside of what a couple jet sweeps and maybe like an end around here and there.
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen any creativity. The running game, it hasn't been great. It's just struggled to really get going. And I mean, obviously Brandon Cooks has been non-existent. I talked about it a lot on Monday, but for a guy who is our prized acquisition of the offseason along with Stephon Diggs and had so many expectations it was gonna help take the load off CD's shoulders, he hasn't done that. And this is kind of a spoiler for my hot boy of the week, but I think if he's ever going to have a breakout game, it might have to be this week, genuinely, because I've seen some whispers. I saw a tweet by Marcus Mosher, and he asked the question. He said, "How long do you think it'll be until the Cowboys think about giving Jalen Tolbert more reps?" And my question is, and I kind of want to hear what you think about this as well, is that let's say hypothetically Jalen Tolbert starts getting more reps because he's looked pretty decent when he's gotten his opportunities. I mean, he's caught pretty much everything thrown his way that was catchable. He's had a couple catches in the New England game. I know he had one or two against the Jets. Did he have one last week? Maybe. But who does he play over right now? Brandon Cooks or Michael Gallup? Just based on what you've seen this year, it's got to be Cooks, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was brought in to be our speed guy. And then, I mean, our deep threat. And has he caught a ball past like 7, 8 yards?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Genuinely, I feel like we would remember that.
Yeah. I mean, you might want to check a group chat, but it's just bizarre how we're sitting here being like, wow, Brandon Cooks still has under 100 yards. And I mean, if we're not going to throw the ball to Brandon Cooks or use him, I'd rather use a young guy that we took a third round pick on and just see what he can do. Just stinks. And I feel like Mike has scared, and the offseason media has scared Dak completely into just being scared to throw the ball
Yeah.
and take risks. And I don't know, it's just kind of bizarre. And I think we're in our heads too much, and we just need to go out there and play football instead of thinking, what if? I will take 13 interceptions if Dak throws 35 touchdowns. I think any Cowboy would. Those are almost 3-to-1 odds, 3-to-1 ratio. So, but yeah, I agreed with everything you had to say. Cooks needs to have a good game. CD really needs to have a good game, but most importantly, Four needs to have a good game.
Mhm.
It's just besides the fact, like, these players need to show they care, because the fans and Twitter, I mean, there's only so much more before people start asking some harsh questions. And so, I mean, it's up to them. As much as we can say we need a good game, they need to show it. It's in their control. It's not in ours.
Yeah. No, absolutely 100%. I mean, this is a game where we need to, and I said it in the Patriots game, so this is going to sound a little redundant, but it's a game where we need to come out and set the tone early. We need to show from the opening drive and say, hey, you guys have, obviously one of the best pass rushing duos in the NFL. Guess what? We don't care. You need
Yeah.
to come out, set the tone early, make plays, spread the ball around, do what you have to do. I do also want to say, maybe I jumped the gun in saying Brandon Cook's breakout game because I somehow forgot about the CD Lamb and Dak drama that the media just seems to be trying to hype up like for no reason. I mean, it's just not. I think it's a non-story personally.
Yeah, it's
Obviously,
like the Jamar
obviously,
Chase I'm always fucking open bullshit that they're just
exactly,
clutching at shit.
exactly. Like it's a non-story, but I do think because I know Dak said today, like apparently he told CD like, hey, if you ever have an issue, like just come talk to me and we'll figure it out. So usually when wherever there's smoke, there's fire, and I think this could be a week in which I see CD just absolutely lighting it up. I'm
I hope
looking at
so, man. I hope
yeah
so.
yeah I'm looking at the Chargers depth chart right now. Their corners, so they have Michael Davis, Asante Samuel Jr. Those are their two starting cornerbacks, and then they have Jasir Taylor, Is Isong Bassi, and then they have Dean Leonard. So not really sure who they are, but as we kind of saw last week, maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, CD got clamped by Isaiah Oliver last week, so I
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll certainly see, but yeah, this has to be a big game for our offense. It just has to be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dak needs to have a big game. I mean, it was hard to tune in to media this week and see the way that they were talking about him. But to be honest, this was like one of the first weeks, and I mean, we talked about it on our pod Monday. Obviously, we were super down on Dak. Was down on this team as a whole. Sounded pretty somber, but I mean, it was the honest truth. Like, if you don't want people to talk bad about you, just go out and play better. Like, I did, as much as we ragged on him last episode, Ron Curse came out and said, um, he was like talking about the, F Dallas shirt that George Kittle was wearing. And he said, well, at the end of the day, we can't really complain about it. Like he basically said, like, we can't do anything about it. Like, if you don't want him to wear that shirt and, flash it and stuff like that. Don't let him score 3 touchdowns, which I can actually
Yeah.
appreciate because that's
Yeah.
that's the honest truth. Like don't get butthurt about it after. Like, as much as we love Micah, I didn't love those comments where he said, oh, I still think that we're a better team than them. Like, it basically, reading between the lines, he said like it was closer than the score appeared, which like it wasn't.
It wasn't. It
It
was
wasn't a
not.
close game. It honestly might have been farther apart than what the score indicated, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it just an awful game. I mean, obviously we're trying to turn over a new leaf here and just talk about this week's game, but for the Cowboys' sake, I really hope that they really look better on the offensive side of the ball, because if not, the bye week is going to get really, really, really interesting.
For
So
sure.
with all that being said, let's roll into our hot boys for this week. So I want to hear what you have first.
You said it, but it's CeeDee Lamb. I really want to see him kind of just be that alpha wide receiver that we know and we hope he can become. He's playing for a contract. He's gotten a lot of shit this week. I'd be shocked if him and Dak didn't have kind of like an unspoken agreement where it's like, all right, shit, it's the fan. Feed me. Throw me the ball. Like, I don't care if it's a 50-50. You got to trust your guys. And I really want him to have a good game. So he's going to be my hot boy.
Okay. Okay. Like that. Um, I'm gonna go with I'll go with Brandon Cooks. Um, I think that this has to be a week where he finally breaks out. Um, and I think a large product of that is because of the game that I expect Dak to have. I think this is going to have to be a week where Dak, where he has a big game. He has to silence those doubters. He just has to. Um, I could see this being a game, and I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but this could be a game where Dak goes for like 300 plus.
Yeah.
I really, really hope so. If the running game isn't there, which I do expect that the Cowboys are going to try to get the run game involved, obviously. I mean, it's not like Pollard's going to be a non-factor per se, but the running game just has to be there. The passing attack has to be there. That's what I meant. And it'll be really interesting. That's pretty much it. I mean, I've we've predicted Brandon Cooks to have his breakout game. I think we were pretty much all on board with it last week, like, and the week before that, it seemed like. So I mean, we're just waiting for it, and you know what? I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt and say this is the week where he finally does it. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
overall, it's just a prove it week for this offense, and it's a perfect segue to our defense where, worst performance of probably the last 2 years on the defensive side of the ball. And it's no gimme week for them either. They have to play Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. These are good players. And Eckler's not much of a runner. So part of me is like, okay, like the running attack, like he might have like 50, 60 yards, but I'd be shocked if he went over that mark. Despite us even losing Leighton Vander Esch, I expect Damone Clark and Marquise Bell or Damone Clark and Jaron Curse to be kind of handling most of those run duties. And while Burke's fighting for his life in a group chat right now, I'll carry on. But we just need to see a game. We need to see fight. We need to see 11 hats to the ball. We need to see these. Most importantly, we need to see our best players perform. And not to go like whole all like soppy on Micah, but like after that 49ers loss, you should not be fucking clicking record and recording a Twitch stream and saying Debo's your boy. Like Debo went on national like live. He went live on air and was like, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, if you want us in playoffs, it'll be worse. Like, that's not your boy, Micah. Like, that's the player you're playing against, and he might have respect for you because he's another pro athlete. But I mean, quit calling him someone your boy and show the world because Cowboy fans certainly know. Show the world why you're being compared to Lawrence Taylor. We need our best players playing well. Can't have them just folding over when a little adversity hits. That's bullshit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it needs to be a prove it week. It's not like I'm not like holy fuck we're playing the Chargers because it's Kellen Moore. We should be familiar with this offense. They don't have Mike Williams. Sure, they have Quentin Johnson, but if Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, and Joshua Palmer instill fear in a defense, Lord have mercy when we're playing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua or AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. Like, we're going up and fucking down the road, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I mean, in terms of units that we're going to be playing against, like this needs to be a get after it team. And overall, I mean, the story of our offense needs to be get right week. Although this is a damn good Chargers team, this needs to be a get right week for our defense. We need to instill fear. We need to be physical. And you know what? Like I can do with a couple penalties here and there for over physicality. Let the ref make the pull the flag, and when the flag's pulled, reel it back a little on the next play. But show us, like fucking the 49ers smacked every tackle looked like a hit stick in Madden when we played the 49ers. And when we tackle, it doesn't look like that. So Austin Eckler shouldn't be running the ball that well on us. It almost plays better into us having like a safety in the box to just be always on Eckler for the pass game. But it just really needs to be a get right week for our defense. And I hope it is. Hope Micah shows why he's the best player in football. I hope our linebackers step. I hope Damone Clark steps up. I mean, fuck, I've not heard or seen any positives out of him. I hope Jerron Kearse has a wake-up game. I hope Donovan Wilson comes back. I hope Hooker comes back. I hope, and, you know, I think Stephon Gilmore on Keenan Allen's going to be a pretty fun matchup. Kind of like not overly fast guys, but pretty technical in their crafts. So that's going to be a fun little one-on-one because we do play the most man coverage in the league. But overall, it needs to be a get right week for both sides of the ball, and the defense has no room to say, oh, like we held the Giants, we held the Jets, we held the Patriots. Like those are bottom 7 teams in the league. So show us why you can shut down an elite offense.
Right. Yeah, and what I'm really curious to see is, I mean, if you look at the quarterbacks that we've played this year, we played Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson. Who was week 3? Oh, Josh Jobs. Okay, so one elite quarterback, Josh Jobs. Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. Out of those 5 quarterbacks, who would you put in the upper tier of quarterbacks? You would say Brock Purdy right now. And I mean, we, often satirically say Josh Jobs is elite. Maybe it's not satirical anyways, but like realistically, obviously he's not an elite quarterback, but he acted like it.
Seem like it.
Yeah, we definitely hype that up, and maybe we'll edit that out and just stick with the narrative that he is elite. I don't know, TBD. Yeah. But when you look at the caliber of quarterbacks we played, obviously, and we gave Brock Purdy his flowers as much as we could on Monday, saying, he's not the most talented quarterback. I think everyone is aware of that, but he's a very, very smart quarterback. We're about to be facing, and this is what I'm really interested to see, is in a guy in Justin Herbert who is undoubtedly an elite quarterback. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. His arm talent's off the charts. Awesome flow too. I mean, it looks sick coming out of the back of the helmet. Big QB flow guy. So, but it is going to be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see when we're watching the game. I mean, obviously we're going to be texting, but I'm going to be curious to see how much of Kellen Moore's fingerprints that we're able to see on this game.
For sure.
And specifically in that offense. And just watching the chess match between Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore is going to be really fascinating to watch. I really think, like, what do you let's just say right now, what's the Chargers' first play from offense? Healthy Eckler, run to the left. That's going to be my prediction. Yeah.
Yeah, a run. And I mean, the second play is going to be a 5-yard hit, all hitch, and then the third play will be like a play action
Yeah,
bootleg.
play
I mean,
action boot. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and then it's going to be like the only option is like the tight end that's running like parallel to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be like a 3-yard gain, and it's going to be a 4th and 1 from their 29 or from their 34.
Yeah.
Like it'll be something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, I'm curious to see how much, like, because this is almost like part of my take would say this is like a revenge week for Kellen Moore. Like we didn't give him he was the only coach to get let go out of the main 3 coaches for the coaching staff, and he came under a lot of scrutiny in his time in Dallas towards the end of it. So it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. But Berkey, who is your kill of the week?
Or Hot Boy.
Yeah.
Ooh, good question. Question. Not that I would pick him, but out of just genuine curiosity, what are the odds Rashawn Evans suits up on Monday?
I would be shocked.
Okay, that's kind of what I
I
was
would be
thinking
shocked.
too. What is their linebacking core going to be? Malik Jefferson, Clark, and Marquise Bell?
And Jaron Curse / Donovan Wilson.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're going to have to. Gosh. This is a really hard one. Because I would love to give JK the benefit of the doubt and pick him, but I don't have the confidence in him to say that right now. I'm sorry, I just don't. Um, and I don't want to pick Micah. I do think Micah's going to have a bounce back week, but I don't know. You know what? I'll say DeMarcus Lawrence. Was that gonna be yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Well,
literally went through my exact thought process. I'm like, Curse? Nah. Micah? I
yeah.
can't. Like, that's
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah. I'll go to Marcus Lawrence. If this is a game, just from looking at the Chargers depth chart right now, I mean, obviously left tackle, Stonewall, Rashawn Slater, stud. Zion Johnson, left guard. I think he was the first round pick last year. He's pretty good. Then they have the GOAT at center, the meme, Will Clapp. And then their right side is Jamari Sawyer and Trey Pipkins III, who I think is decent. But without having, like any PFF grades or, pass or protection grades or run blocking grades or anything like that in front of me, I can't judge. But this feels like a game where if anyone on our defense is going to talk about it and be about it, I know JK loves to think that he's that guy, but we know, and he has been for years, is that DeMarcus Lawrence is our heart and soul guy on our defense. He's the guy who, whenever he talks about it, he is about it. Like he's the one guy on this team that I trust when they say like, oh, like we're pissed off, we're coming out pissed off, we're coming different. I believe it when he says it. There's just a conviction that he speaks with that just leads me to believe that whatever he says he's gonna do. And just based on the overall tone that this team has been giving throughout the whole week, just saying like, yeah, we just got our asses handed to us by San Francisco. I think that they're going to come out and he's going to have a big game. I'm going to say he gets a sack and a forced fumble this week.
I love that. And we kind of didn't even highlight it, but is this a week, especially with Van Der Esch being on IR, obviously? Do we see Micah at all off-ball linebacker, you think, or no?
Yes. I think we will. I think it's going to be
out of 100% of snaps. What do you think the snap share of him playing linebacker to being on the edges? Because arguably, or not arguably, edge is our deepest position. Like Dante Fowler, Dorrance,
especially with injuries or and Sam Williams.
Oh,
too.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I would argue I want to see like Micah like almost like a 50-50 split.
I was gonna say for my prediction, I was gonna say it might be 60-40. I think is probably what I'm leaning.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a 60% edge.
That's definitely the safer option.
I think what we're gonna see a lot of And yeah, I can't believe that we glossed over this. But I think a lot of what we're going to see, especially while Van Der Esch is out, is that I think we're going to see, just based out of pure necessity at this point, and hopefully so it takes less of a toll on Micah, is that we see him get to play some more off-ball linebacker, and we know it's something that he can do very well, and that maybe with him not being a full-time edge, maybe it'll save a little wear and tear on his body, because
Yeah.
the trend with Micah over the last few years has been, the first like 12 weeks he's great, and then he kind of plateaus. So hopefully we can kind of keep him a little bit more fresh. So I would say it's like 60-40. I think we're still going to use him off the edge a lot. We know obviously he can be effective there. I think the 60 is off the edge, and then I think 40% we'll see him playing off the ball.
I agree. And to go into that, as Dante Fowler's great. Travis Hunter just scored. Sick. It's goated.
Stud, future
Dante
Cowboy.
Fowler's great. I would love that.
Yeah, me too. Holy
Dorrance is
shit.
great. But my hot boy of the week, might be hot. It's gonna be hot for sure. Is Sam Williams. People ever since we drafted him and we saw what he looked like, we're like, baby Micah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I might ease on the side of it. Might be closer to 50-50 with Micah playing linebacker. There was light film. Obviously, he only played, I think it was a total of 3 snaps off ball linebacker against the Niners, but he is perfectly comfortable playing off ball linebacker, at least in run fits.
Yeah.
And that enables us to use him more as a chess piece, find a matchup, and like you said, limit the wear and tear on his body and keep him on the field longer. And
Yeah.
I think Sam Williams having a big game would really help our defense as a whole. I mean, the obvious choice would be Dorrance or Dante Fowler, but if we unlock our set, people forget Sam Williams is our second round pick.
Right.
If we unlock him to be a dog, like that opens up endless possibilities for an ever creative Dan Quinn.
Just please
And
take away his license.
yeah,
If
please.
if he has a big game, do not let him drive home. Like, just don't let him drive. That would be
For
terrifying.
sure. And let's segue. And
Wait, who's
sorry
your
for the
hot
view,
boy?
Sam Williams.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know if that was official or not. Okay, cool. D Law Sam Williams. Hell yeah. Love it.
But let's segue into a new corner where we're just gonna kind of go over the betting lines as of Friday at 10:50 Eastern, 9:50 Central. And right now it is Cowboys 2.5 point favorites. The over under is set at 51. And I'm just gonna briefly just gloss over a couple things. Uh, Dak Prescott's touchdown odds are 1.5. Same with Herbert, but Dak to get over 1.5 is -130. Pretty
Pretty
totally
good.
see. I could totally see over. Um, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, Austin for rushing yards. Austin Eckler over 49. Tony Pollard over 67.5. Might be a little steep for Pollard unless he breaks one, but kind of like what you said, the run game hasn't shown us anything, and overall it's a get right week. But the one I really want to see is the receptions and receiving yards. And of course, unfortunately, the Chargers are posted for receptions right now, which sucks.
Mm.
But I would
I was gonna say
expect,
I would love to see the odds for CD's stats this
yeah.
week.
And for the viewers out there, regardless of what the line is, obviously not like 100 over 123, but I would mash CD receptions. I love CD receptions. Probably going to be what, 4.5 if you were
Uh,
to guess?
I was gonna say, like, well,
Receptions.
I saw a stat. He's had 4 catches in every single game this year except for the Patriots game, I think. Or
It's four and a
no,
half, five and a
the
half.
Jets
I'm
game. I don't know,
Yeah,
one of the
four and a
two.
half or 5.5. I'm hitting CD. receptions.
I think I would even take it if it was 6.5. I think
Yeah.
I would safely take it.
And Brandon Cooks last week on yards was like 36.5. So if it's anything near that, I would love Brandon Cooks over yards as well. I would
too.
I would like Dak over 1.5 touchdowns. CD over whatever his reception line is. It's probably in between 4.5 and 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love Brandon Cooks over yards. I think that would be a great parlay opportunity. It's probably It's probably going to be plus 400 ish. Ex bookie here. Don't incriminate me. But I mean, probably around plus 400, I would say. And it would be very, very opportunistic of us being half in, half out on the Cowboys to once again take overs on Cowboy offensive props. It's still showing us that we still are in on the Cowboys, and especially our offense.
We still believe. We might sound down, but we're still in because we were born into this, both of us being guys
we've
from the
survived
East Coast.
We've survived John Kitna, Brandon Weeden, Andy Dalton. Matt Castle. We went through the ringer.
Kyle Orton.
Yeah. But Berkey, do you have any hot takes you want to kind of air out, maybe for just this week specifically or this season?
That's a good question. Before I get into my hot take, I would just say, I've made it clear on this pod that I don't bet on the Cowboys because it's too much. Like I can't handle it. But I would safely take Cowboys -2.5, and then, as I said, with the whatever CD's props end up being, receptions, if his yards are anywhere around like 75 to 80-ish, I would take that. I liked what you said about Cooks too. If it's anywhere between 30 and 40, I would take that as well. Obviously biased. I'm not encouraging anyone to follow my betting picks. We're not pros over here, obviously. But that's just what I would do.
For sure.
And obviously that could change. I don't think he would have like an absurd line where it's like 7.5 catches for CD or anything like that. But anywhere between 4.5 and 6.5, I think I would safely take the over. And for cover zero takes, let's see.
If you need to think, I kind of have one on deck.
You go and I'll think.
If this was to be the Cowboys get right week and we're not fucking pretenders, I think the Cowboys win this game by 8 to 10 points. I think
that's a really good take.
I just love us winning by like a touchdown and a field goal. Maybe they kick an extra or kick a field goal or score a touchdown in like garbage time to get it down to that. But Dan Quinn hopefully is in his bag against Kellen Moore. They went up against each other in training camp. Mike Williams being injured, like Quentin Johnson, the rookie, and Joshua Palmer, and like Austin Eckler coming off an injury too. Herbert's even injured. Yeah, and but like,
what's your score prediction? Also, forgot about that.
Yeah, I like 30. I like 34. I like a 34-24 game. Cowboys hits the over of 51. Okay. But also I'm gonna, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just be optimistic. The Cowboys will win by 10. Like,
yeah.
This is just me being optimistic and probably a dumbass believer Cowboy fan, but like everyone who shits on the Cowboy fans, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Root for my team to lose? Like, we have more talent than 25 teams, I would say. On paper, we are more talented than probably 27 teams.
Even with the injuries.
Yeah. So, like, for me to be a believer in us actually living up to our talent shouldn't be something that's so blasphemous.
Agreed. Okay, so I've thought of my cover zero take and I've thought of my score prediction. So my score prediction, by the way, thanks for buying me time. I needed that. But my score prediction, I think this is going to be And I don't like to predict the Cowboys in shootouts very often because that means it's a rough defensive game. But I'm going to say maybe the defense, kind of not lackadaisical per se, but maybe they're looking ahead towards the bye week a little bit. I'm going to say the Cowboys win in a shootout. I'm going to say 35-31 Cowboys, covering that spread. And I think it's a game where maybe Kellen Moore kind of gets the best of Dan Quinn a little bit. Well, maybe not gets the best of, but maybe it's Cowboys have a lead, Chargers get back into it, or maybe it's just a shootout the whole way. I don't know, but I like
A
35.
fun watch.
Yeah,
A fun
I
watch.
like 35-31 on paper. I mean, the Cowboys haven't performed that way yet. I mean, Justin Herbert's awesome, and against this defense, I'm interested to see what he does. So I'll say 35-31 Cowboys. And for my cover zero take, it's one that I was actually thinking about it this morning on my way to work. I don't really know what made me think about it. It might have been just a compilation I saw of some blocking highlights from him against the Niners. But Tyler Smith will continue to cement his case to be at least a Pro Bowler, if not an All-Pro guard, and potentially a top 5 guard in all of football.
I love that. I mean, I saw that one clip of him pancaking Fred Warner, and I mean, just for him to be able to get to and put his hands on Fred Warner in a lot of open space is impressive in itself and
Yeah.
shouldn't be overlooked. I love that. I guess my last take would be last time we played the Chargers, Micah had 2 sacks his rookie year. I'm looking for him to repeat that. I would love a Micah 2-sack game.
Micah 2-sack
But
bounce back.
like what we said, he might be playing off-ball linebacker and used as a chess piece. So I'm gonna say one of those comes from like a linebacker blitz. I don't know how we're gonna keep track of that statistically, but obviously we'll be watching the game.
Yeah, if we'll just judge it based on our eye test, and we'll just be like, oh, he didn't line up in a 3-point stance. Yup, like count it, and then we'll just say that we're right.
For sure.
I mean, we control our own destiny here. So, yeah, love it. We that was you have anything else to add?
Get right, Cowboys. Get right. Please.
Get right indeed. All right, well that pretty much wraps up our week 6 Los Angeles Chargers versus Dallas Cowboys Monday Night Football preview. It'll be 7:15 ish Monday Night Football, SoFi Stadium, 7:15 Central, 8:15 Eastern, somewhere around that, 8:20 maybe.
So for the viewers, the pod will be recorded the next day. The boys need to sleep on that, and of course get to our luscious 9 to 5s.
That's a good point. Yeah, our recap episode will be coming out on more than likely next Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. As always, keep engaging with us over Twitter, over TikTok, over Instagram, however you guys see fit. We're gonna be pretty active on there this weekend, and of course should be popping off Monday night. We'll be in the the Cowboys community on Twitter. We'll probably be asking definitely during the game and especially after the game for some just gut reactions, kind of like how we did last week, so we can continue to incorporate our viewers and listeners into our episodes as best we can. But with that being said, please go follow us on our socials. Our Instagram is Dallas BC Podcast. Our Twitter and TikTok is at Dallas BC Pod. For any inquiries or bookings or anything of that nature, please feel free to shoot us an email at podcastdbc@gmail.com. And go listen to us on Spotify. We're working on Apple Music / Apple Podcasts. We'll do some more tinkering with it this weekend, try to figure it out. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening, as always. And we will see you guys on Tuesday. Time to get right, boys.
Boom.